So welcome everybody to Mind Shifters Radio. And today is Monday, June the 29th, 2026. And we welcome you to the show. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you, dear heart, and welcome everybody. Delighted and honored that you're here, and that we get to move this conversation to the next level today. Welcome, and how's everybody doing? Anybody have anything exciting to bring into the conversation?
I don't know if it's happening for everybody else, but Michael, you're cutting in and out, and you're not as clear as you usually are with that headset.
Okay. How am I now?
Very much better.
You know why I wasn't as clear as I usually am with that headset?
Why?
Because I did not have the headset on.
Oh, okay.
I was just plugging it in. So we're rock and roll.
Very good.
Just checked out of the hotel in Springfield, Missouri, getting ready to drive to Costco, fill up with gas, pick up groceries, and head to Theodosia. First time I've been in Theodosia, I'm not even sure. I think it's 2 years, maybe 3 years since we've been to the center. And so excited about getting to do that. And honored that you all are with us. Kerry, Camie.
Hi, Michael. I'm wondering, is there a caretaker there that lives there?
No, there is not. No, the center has been kind of fending for itself the last year or so.
Oh, okay. So
last time we were there, we hadn't opened since 2019. I was quite pleasantly surprised at how good shape everything was in the building and such. And going back to check that out, see what it looks like.
I hope there's no big unpleasant surprises and everything is good.
We'll hold the space that everything is just awesome and rock and roll.
So do you anticipate using it in the next year or so?
Well, if a team came together that was going to assist in getting the center ready, in 2019, Jeanie stayed home to take care of her dad and baby, Aria. He was just a year then. And I went to HeartLand and did the intensive season and, turned the water on, opened all the buildings, did all the preparation, did a very full intensive season, and then closed it all down in the process. One of the things I did as I was closing it down, there's a particular pipe in our basement that I found with the corner of my head, if I have a corner on my head, and took a chunk out of it. And so it's kind of been since 2019, then COVID hit. We did an intensive. I think you were at the one we did in Abingdon.
Yeah.
And then, it's just been more work than I wanted to do. So it would take a crew. I've had a couple of people said, "Oh yeah, we'll come and help," but then at the last minute, that's kind of fallen through. So we'll see what unfolds.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of
work. Get a good full season. I hope it's nobody will ever know how much work it is unless you've done it.
Yeah.
And appreciation to the people who over the years have done it. We've always had a support team there, and we were back and forth with intensives. But then when Jeanie's dad got sick and we chose to stop traveling and go to he couldn't live on his own, didn't want to leave his house. And at the same time, we had Aria Rainborn, and we raise her 2 to 3 days a week so that her parents can work. And she now has a baby brother that is, almost 20 months now. Maybe he is 20 months. So we have 2 of them that we take care of. So we're kind of homebodies. We don't travel much. I think last year I did one. There's a physician in Florida that wanted to introduce my work to his patients. So I went down and did a week of workshops. But other than that, it's been 3 or 4 years since we've done anything on the road.
Well, and
so
also
things have changed.
That place by you is a really nice retreat center that you don't have to fix.
Yes. Yeah, we can just go in, do it, and we have nothing to do with the facility.
Yeah.
And that's a major difference. But HeartLand, when we started that back in 1989, the commitment was this is a home for the work. And one of the things about the land there is we're north of, the lower parts of Arkansas and such that have crystal mines, but the soil is filled with crystals that, so we've spent, 3 decades building the energy and putting energy into that crystalline structure to be a space that when people walk on the property, they know it, and it's there to carry forward. So we'll just see
So
how it's kind of a
I'm
money sink, unfortunately, but that's just the way it is for today.
well, I'm wondering if a couple of things, if you might be interested in putting it in a conservation easement with a local land trust.
I would be open to knowing. I've thought about calling you about that
Yeah,
and just seeing what your thoughts are in that regard.
yeah,
So I'd
yeah.
love some advice since that's your profession.
So what they do, you still own the land and everything, but they put the land, they buy the development rights, basically. So it kind of, and the value of those development rights depends on if you're really close to an urban center, which is likely to be developed or not. So the value, um, you know, shifts and changes so that if you were ever to sell that place, you would have already gotten the development rights payment to you. Um, but so then you would sell it and it wouldn't be able to be sold to a developer. Can,
Right,
it can even go to auction. I mean, uh, if, in 20 or 30 years or whenever it's sold, it's protected and it has conservation protections on it so that the buyer would be a conservation minded person.
right. Well, we
And
don't have an urban center anywhere near us. Whereas that one of the reasons for buying it was one, it's almost a geographical, little off, but almost a geographical center of the country, so it's easy to get to from everywhere. And two, we're 7 miles from a town. I'm not sure how many people are in Theodosia now, but it was 250 people,
uh-huh.
and so I'm not sure exactly. The population might be 260 now. I don't know for sure, but so it's isolated. However, we're on a lake. It's
Oh
another
yeah.
nice
Yeah.
feature. It's what used to be a small family resort.
Yeah. So that would provide you also with a little lump sum of money as well, to be able to manage the property. And
Right,
a lot of people do that because they get a little lump sum of money and then they're able to do upgrades on their property or whatever they want. So we can talk
right.
at length about it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, let's have
Yeah.
that conversation. I'm glad you have those skills and that knowledge, and yeah, I'd be very open and interested in that.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've got a space that'll accommodate when buildings are all operational. It'll accommodate about 60 people. Food service and teaching space and lake and all of that. So let's see what that conversation looks like.
Okay.
Cool. Anything else exciting happening in your world?
Um, well, we're going on a little vacation to Michigan by the lake by Warren Dunes next week. And then in August, we're going up to Washington State, staying in a little town near Mount St. Helens and Mount Adams and Mount Rainier, so that we're
Oh,
going to do
nice.
some hiking for a couple of weeks and see my son who lives in Portland.
Nice. We did an
So,
intensive out in that area back a few years ago. It was really cool.
oh, okay.
A ranch, uh, kind of a cross between a horse ranch and a teaching center. So
Nice.
pretty cool.
So one of the things that I'm developing at the moment is land ceremony for connecting Earth's grid, um, and I'm studying the tantric land ceremony. The word
Right,
tantra means to weave together. So
right,
tantric land ceremony is um, basically weaving together that web. So there's a web of energy that wraps around the globe, and then there's
right,
another web within Mother Earth that connects all these different places with crystals. So I'm developing workshops. I've done 3 already. Ceremonies. I've done 3 on land already. And maybe next time you go down to Missouri, I can do a land ceremony down there.
That would be cool.
If you've got all those crystals there, I mean, that's one of the things that I do is I plant during the ceremonies, we plant a crystal to connect the crystal grid of Earth. And it's very linked for me with my exploration into Earth energies and connecting. So, there's the saying, as above, so below.
Right.
Well, I'm coming to realize that it's as above, so below, and it's also as below, so above. So
Yes.
that there's a whole integration, and we can integrate those energies of source and the great galactic sun and all of that with the core crystal of the earth energies within our one heart, within our bodies. And then when we send out our love and light, when we extend that out after we connect, we are healing the earth. And doing these ceremonies, I'm also doing sacred geometry within the ceremonies. So the ceremonies have Native American, Celtic, star guides, and they have a lot of earth-centered energies too within the ceremonies. And I'm really looking, and what I'm doing with my body is I'm integrating all of that, and I'm feeling my vibration raise, and I'm focusing on that extension of love. And naturally, my attention has shifted away from any chaos kind of thoughts. And so when I do confront, or if someone confronts me with their stuff, like somebody tried to run me off the road the other day, and it was just like, oh, yeah, I was just like, oh, I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. I did Ho'oponopono. And then I, just connected with those sources of light and love, and then extended it out to her. And because initially I felt her wave of anger and resentment start to wash over me, and I did not accept it. I
Nice work.
sent the light out. So
The fruit of your work.
I know, I'm feeling so connected. And ceremony helps to focus the mind, and it also focuses the energies within myself, so that I'm able to extend those outward really powerfully as they flow through me. So it's a whole different ball game for me this year. It's a beautiful thing.
Sounds right on track.
Yeah, so I'd love to do a sacred geometry and crystal ceremony out at your center someday, and maybe even next time I come your way at your property too, in Virginia.
Virginia, yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I'm putting together my website to offer these services, in particular because I've been involved my whole life in restoration ecology and
Right.
with scientists, and trying to put together a website for working with them to to heal the land in a co-creative way, because I think a lot of scientists and people, well, the way we've been taught is that we go and impose our will on the land. We go, oh, we need to do this, we need to do this, and we need to do this. Do we ever
Without
go?
asking permission?
Do we ever go and ask? Yeah, no, we don't ever go and ask. Do we ever go and listen? No, we don't go listen. And one of the things that I did a meditation last year at the scientific conference, and a guided meditation, and one of the people there said, oh my God, I never realized that this garden that I have at my house, where I know all the plants and the trees and I know them all, I never realized that they knew me.
Oh.
And they do. They know you. So
I remember the early days at HeartLand, going down to Mount Home. There's a home on the left-hand side with an oak tree that's probably at least 8 feet high. And I used to drive by that. I want to stop and visit that oak tree one of these days. And one day I'm driving down there and the owner's out cutting the lawn. So I stop and ask the owner, can I go hang out with your he said, oh yeah, people do that all the time. And I went over and I just leaned against the tree, just kind of, just kind of being in the energy of it. And I raised my hand to scratch my head. And when I brought my hand down, I had a piece of bark from the tree in my hand.
Mm.
Well, that's a good keepsake.
Yeah.
So I'm driving back to HeartLand, and all of a sudden, a voice in my head says, you came to take something. What are you going to give?
Yeah, exactly.
And I was like, what? Well, I have a request of you. Do you have an altar? No. Would you create an altar and put me on it and radiate your human experiences through me back to the tree?
Beautiful.
And so I've had that. That's been in, well, at HeartLand, I now have it in Virginia. That's been with me for probably 37 or 38 years.
Yeah, we take, and everybody's probably read that book, The Giving Tree by Silverstein.
Yes.
And, what do we give? What do we give back? So these land ceremonies are about giving back. They're about giving energy, giving connection. And a lot of people don't realize that consciousness exists everywhere in all life, even in your car. Consciousness exists. I healed my stove in my kitchen, which was having serious problems. I healed it with Reiki. That lasted about 5 or 6 years. So all, even grass, trees, insects,
Life,
all life has consciousness. And we need to be able to tune into that. I don't know if a lot of people have read Braiding Sweetgrass by Robin Wall Kimmerer. And whenever I kind of mention this, they go, oh yeah, Braiding Sweetgrass. Have you read that book? So there's a lot that we need to have gratitude for and give thanks for and ask, what is it that you need? So when we have an oak tree that Jim and I planted when we first moved here in our house. There was nothing but grass here. Now it's full of prairie and trees and shrubs. It's beautiful. And this oak tree was starting to struggle, and we weren't quite sure what it was. We did some treatments for oak wilt and different things. So I was leaning against the tree one day, and I just said, what is it that you need? Would you like more of my attention? Would you like, how about, it had a little I don't know if it was a gash or an early branch that came out down towards the base. It had a little, like a little cave in the bark. And I said, can I put a crystal there? And I got the answer, yes. So I went in the house and put a crystal in that, in the tree. But we need to ask and then listen. Because if we do truly empty our minds and listen, we can hear the universe. We can hear other consciousness speak to us. And maybe you go to lean against a tree and you say, may I lean against you? And the tree says no. They don't always say yes.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to respect and honor that. So.
This neat. Yeah, when I first went on the property, I looked at several resorts. I decided the area that I wanted to be in, and when I first walked on the property, I spoke loud and clear, this is it. And the realtor that was showed to me said, wait a minute, this place has been closed down for 7 years. It's such a, you don't want this.
Mm.
And literally we took 17 dump trucks of garbage out of it and been shut down. But it spoke loud and clear, this is the place. So.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Cool. Well, I'll look forward to some conversations in that regard.
Very nice.
All right. Well, have a blessed one.
You know, I also, Michael, I feel like all the work that I've done with you in the shadow side and cleaning that up over the years, and not that I'm done with that. I'm not saying I'm done. It's just that I've done a lot of work.
Right.
And I feel like what it's done is it's opened up this whole new promise or aspect of being that I never knew was there before. Because I was so cluttered up. I was so.
That's the state of the world, the unconsciousness of that clutter. And the truth has difficulty breaking through.
And
to realize that we are breath beings and to live in that is just, there's no comparison to what people call life and that.
And I think, you know, there comes a point when, and I've heard other people on your show kind of talk about it too, about a lightness of being. And it's like we have an attachment to habitual ways of thinking. And
Or what we call thinking.
yeah.
Not thinking at all. If most people said what they thought, they'd be speechless.
I had a teacher once who said he was walking down the street in Chicago one day and there was this kind of homeless, disheveled man, or maybe he wasn't homeless. He was just kind of disheveled and not very well put together. And he was just ranting and raving and talking out loud and gesticulating and, you know, all this stuff as he was walking down the street. And my teacher kind of stopped dead in his tracks and he was like, oh, that's what's going on in my head. I'm just not saying it out loud.
Good catch.
Yeah. So, you know, if we listen to that anymore, we can stop. If we start listening, we can, you know, stop those habitual thoughts, habitual ways of being as we become more and more aware. And, oh, no, I'm not going there. I'm not going there. And, you know, you can call them, people call them different things. You know, people call them demons. People call them, oh, I've got my demons, or I've got my, whatever they call them, that are constantly with me. And, you know, these are the thoughts that I have that are, and it induces fear and rage and anger. And we can choose, we can say every day I say this before bed and when I wake up in the morning, and sometimes other times during the day when I connect with the light. I serve only the white light of source, now and forever.
Mhm.
So that I no longer serve the demons.
Yeah.
You know, the archons or whatever people
Yeah.
want to call
Well,
them, you know.
in Aramaic, the word demon has nothing to do with some dude out there that's nasty or whatever. It's an
It's all
internal
inside.
state
It's
of
all
mind.
inside.
Yeah, it's an internal state
Yeah.
of mind that needs to be forgiven.
And
Oh,
it's, you
needs
know,
to be removed.
but that's how we think about it, don't we? We think about it as a demon, as something,
Until we know better.
right. So, and
That's, the demons, the culture, the Greek, that's my work on this new book. It's all Greek to me. The Greek idea of demons, everybody's, I mean, literally by the age of 4, we are each pretty much programmed into being very devout, religious members of the one world universal religion of blame. And so, of course, if something demonic, painful, traumatic is going on in my head, what do? I look out there and I don't see anything, so there must be an invisible demon after me. It's just, it's crazy on its face, but that's the culture.
oh yeah, and the if we also look at the Nag Hammadi scriptures and all of that, they also give us the steps for self-realization, and we can we all have all this information available to us now through your teachers and everything, and through all of these other spiritual teachings from the yogis and the masters to the ancient ones, and it's nothing new. It's all been there forever.
Yeah.
We've just become sidetracked of by
We stop breathing into that trap.
yeah, we've
When we
become
stop breathing, we left the teacher.
we did, and the paradigm, the patriarchal paradigm of fear and control took over, and we ceased to take responsibility.
One of the core tenets of the one world universal religion of blame.
Right. Exactly. So now we can sit here and we can blame the capitalistic, economic, fascist. We can, we can blame the education system, all of this stuff. And we can sit in blame, rage, anger, and fear, or we can choose to co-create something new.
Okay.
So no longer, that's why I don't look at Facebook anymore. I'm no longer interested in putting my attention there. My attention is going in a different place. And it's not that I'm avoiding looking at my reactions to a war or where people are being murdered and whatever, because I've healed those, so that when I see that and I hear about that, I have a different response. I have a big heart opening response. So I no longer have those reactions. And so I'm moving into a place of co-creation is what I'm focusing on. And it's a beautiful thing because I've also been doing the QNRT, which has been extremely helpful in working along with your worksheets. Thursday, I did some mind shifters work and some writing with a group that I write with once a month called Writing from Within. And I usually do a mind shifter there because we write for quite a while. So I'm still doing the work, and I'm shifting out of the old paradigm.
The objective.
Yeah, and
to arrive there, live there.
and,
No,
and
one of the
I feel my vibration raising. I'm exercising. I'm eating differently. It's just all coming so naturally.
cool. That's one of the thoughts that came earlier as you were talking with the land ceremonies. And you had at one point talked about planning to take laws of living prisons, and it seems like that would be a powerful combination too, to actually do
Oh yeah.
land ceremonies and bring healing into those prison spaces so that there's sacred ground where healing occurs rather than a punitive game. We need to transform this punishment plan. We need to eradicate punishment and get back to functioning as human beings.
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna for my offering, I'm starting to write out my whole philosophy and what I can offer, and it's going to include breath. It's going to include ceremony, um, and it's interesting. Maybe yes, I'll include laws of living, and of course, give everyone credit for those concepts and see how. So I'm going to be working this summer on creating those ceremonies and those workshops.
Cool. Sweet.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I'll probably run some of it by you.
I'd be delighted to give you any feedback I can, any and all support I can. Sure.
Thank you, Michael.
All right. Have a blessed one. Well, does that stir anything for anyone else? Bring any thoughts to mind? How's everybody doing? Anybody going to report in? What's happening?
I have a teeny report.
Oh, please do.
Tim's and my household has become a model for our both the refugee center and his church interfaith in action group that he is a member of, suggesting that widows and single people who own property or are living in larger houses might open them to a refugee or to in an exchange kind of thing. The refugee might cook for them or might pay a minimal rent somehow so people can support one another, especially now when the deportations, we have a lot of Haitians and Syrians among our people.
Right.
And there, of course, this can't help them. If they need to go, they're going to be thrown out of the country. But those refugees who can stay here may end up living with people who, I know one woman in my church who is single now, widow, children away, and she has a large house downtown within walking distance of the refugee center, and she's considering taking in one or two refugees, and they get immediately vetted because we're inviting anyone who might be interested to start out by helping teach English as a second language in the refugee center. Then they get to know certain people, see if they would like to move in together. I mean, in a way, it protects people from unknown sorts of people.
Right.
So I might have mentioned this on the previous radio show, and sorry if I have, but we're kind of excited about it.
It's a good reminder. It's a good reminder. So your gift to the culture is deeply appreciated.
Well, it's healing all around.
Yes.
It has a good effect on everybody.
Yeah.
So anybody, yeah, I remember talking about it now. My apologies. I'm repeating myself.
No apology needed at all. Again, it's a good reminder.
Okay, well, that's what I
So,
wanted to say, is to invite people wherever you are to check out your local refugee center, if there is one. See if that might be a good exchange, good hitching
right.
place.
Yeah, you've been engaged with the folks that you're housing for better than a year now. So,
Yeah, they've been here a little over a year. It's working out really well.
nice.
In fact, they came to us last night and said now that the older boy is earning money, he has put it to his family that they would like to pay us rent. And we don't need them to do that, but they said they would feel better if they did. So one form of rent is that one of them is doing some pretty hard yard work for us. Spreading out a large amount of compost over a large garden space and digging it in there, sort of a human tiller.
Right. Nice.
And he feels good about himself. And they also are going to contribute to the running of the household beyond the food that we've been covering for them. So we might be able to give some of that money back to the refugee center. So it's a lot of exciting stuff.
We we definitely need that transformation.
Well, it's very different. The country is very different now. And I had a good discussion with Kerry about voting, um, because I was saying I thought voting was important, but along the lines of saying, render unto Caesar that which is Caesar's. In other words, take part in your culture. But the thing that I learned from Kerry is that I've been very anxious about making sure people vote, and that is none of my business. So I can vote and do what I think is my part and do it in a neutral, if not totally, a benign manner without anxiety.
Cleaning up your anxiety in the process.
Yeah, yeah. She pointed that out in our support group. So that's been very helpful too.
Yeah, a really big piece of the puzzle that takes time for most people to get is that whatever one thinks is the reason for their turmoil, trauma, anxiety, whatever it is, there is no because, except the only because is because it's in there.
Yeah.
And once that's recognized, then one can start to clean that up and move
Hmm.
into a different world, literally a different world. So the world between years changes dramatically.
It is dramatic.
Yeah,
Mm,
cool, sweet. Well, tell Tim we said hello and we send off our love and hugs.
thanks. Thank
All
you.
right.
Michael, who was the woman who was living on your property in Heartland? Didn't you have one of your
So it's
major, yeah,
Julie, and she had
Haverstick?
bought
Yeah.
she had bought a piece of property just down the road, and about a year ago, uh, she had a friend who was living in it, and he passed away, and
Oh,
so she moved in about a year ago.
she moved back into the house?
She moved back into her property, off of Heartland property, and into uh, the property that she had bought.
So might she be involved in caretaking? If I'm understanding you right, there's a little bit of breaking up, at least coming on my end.
Yeah, she's pretty engaged. She bought a 5 acre piece. I think it's 5 acres piece of property, and pretty engaged there.
Wow. Okay. All right, I'll get off and open the floor.
All right, I see Camie's got her mic open. How are you, young lady? Hello, Camie. If you're speaking, we can't hear you.
And
I
Sally
see
had
you've got.
opened her
My
mic.
mic wasn't
Oh,
open.
oh, okay. Well, it's showing up on my phone, so it is. So my apologies. Okay, Sally,
I
you have.
Yeah, my
Careless?
mic was open. Thank you, Jeannie. You're so kind. Uh, I wanted to thank Susan for that made my whole heart smile to realize that the extension of love to these refugees and sharing resources and skills, etc. It reminded me of two things. This morning in my miracles group, one of our members has just celebrated her 100th birthday. And Alma, in her years, has had many, many immigrants live with her. And she had a big, big house, and she saw the world as her home and no difference between cultures. And she's just been such a living demonstration of a miraculous living woman. And now, for her 100th birthday, all of these people that she's loved and housed and helped educate were sending birthday blessings. And they're still all her children. They're still all like in her life. And it's such
Mm,
a beautiful, beautiful way that she carries the beauty of that love in her cells because she gave it away. I mean, she didn't give it away, she gave it. And it, it, that reciprocity, that full cycle of it is so beautiful to witness. And one other thought was just that I got to grow up with that. We had exchange students staying in our house every year that I was growing up. And it really taught us from young years that all humans are our family.
yeah.
And it was, I used to think all kids had, people in Norway and Israel and Hong Kong and yeah, I can name them, I can see them, Madeleine in France. It was amazing to grow up that way and to just be able to see that happening in the world now, as Susan said beautifully, more needed than ever before as we're in our growing pains from egoic grip and what do you call it? Power person patterns that run the world. Um, it's it's one starfish at a time. And thank you for letting me share. I'm usually listening. I was having a picnic and I was about 20 feet from my phone, which was in my car. And I thought, oh, Susan, keep talking because I'll get to my phone pretty soon so that I can
Oh,
say, uh, breathe into this community and how grateful I am for all of you. You know, Camie, you're somewhere in Mexico, and yet I feel you every morning when I wake up. And it's all of you. And some people are new, and I'm loving the new input from Rex and Mitzi, or at least new to me. So thanks for being here.
well, the thought you trigger in me is the overcoming of the optical illusion that Einstein talks about. He says, if you think you're separate or separated from the rest of humanity, you're living in an optical delusion,
Right.
literally. And it's the mind generates a whole world that we live in. And it exists, I mean, it looks like through our eyes, it's out there, but it exists nowhere but between our ears. And that's to me is like one of the most profoundly powerful ideas that, oh, when I realize that, literally I can change the whole world that I see. And, and
Yes, thank God.
the filters I see it through will transform it into, hell into heaven or heaven into hell, whichever, filters I happen to fall into or family pattern.
Yes. Yes, thank goodness that Einstein's brilliance was as powerfully positive as it was, you know, I don't know. I remember the movie Oppenheimer, where Einstein is with Oppenheimer in those final scenes, and the minds that build atomic weapons, yeah, also have the capacity help us build brain cells for making that choice, and each person makes that choice about how they choose to be in the world.
Yes. Yes, 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 yes.
Hmm. And to recognize we're in a choice, like we have choice.
Yeah, it's quite a shock to most people. And actually, I just looked up, and there's more to that quote from Einstein, and I'm trying to share it at this moment. So again, he says, the human being is a part of the whole we call universe, existing within the limits of time and space. Yet we experience ourselves, our thoughts and feelings, as though we are separate from everything else. This sense of separation is a kind of illusion produced by our own consciousness. That illusion becomes a prison. It confines us to personal desires and to attachment to only a few people close to us. The work before us is to free ourselves from that confinement by expanding our awareness and compassion to include all living beings and the whole of nature and its beauty. And when you think that came out of the lips of Albert Einstein, like who's going to argue with that? Well, of course, no, the picture in my mind is really about them out there, and what I'm feeling is really caused by them. It's like, that's a pretty deep state of hypnosis. And of course, the ancients, when they said transcend, weren't saying go up, into a state of trance. They're saying put an end to the state of trance. If you're living in the pictures between your ears generated by your brain, painted metaphorically or maybe literally on the inside of your eyeball, so it looks like it's out there, you got to start to notice you're the one who's feeling it. If you're feeling it, guess who it belongs to? Because you can't feel anybody else's. So it's hopefully something that's becoming energetically strongly enough implanted in the field of the earth and enough minds that we're getting close to critical mass where that will just shift at some point, and the whole game is going to change.
Yes, thank you for every time you repeat those particular words, it just resonates stronger and stronger and stronger. And it's like music I love to hear. Even though I've heard it and heard it and heard it, I love the music. And
I'm with you.
I'm moved to share that I have dealt with lower back pain much of my life. Since I had a gymnastics injury when I was 14. And it was a pretty substantial injury where they didn't know if I'd walk again. Anyway, I'm walking, and I healed a lot of things. But, when you brought up that idea of rage being involved in back pain, that there's maybe a rage factor involved in back pain, I started reciting. I'm also doing physical therapy every day. Every day I'm in the gym, and every day I'm working on improving the situation so that I have as much core strength and support for stabilizing muscles as I can possibly develop. But I started praying or asking the universe or asking the highest within me to heal any unresolved rage that might be in my energy system without me being aware. And so over the weekend, I had a dream, and I don't remember much about it. What I do remember is that I was very angry. I was like red hot, raging angry.
Mm.
And and when I woke up, I had a stiff neck that was pretty stiff. And so I started that morning working with my jaw and working with my breath and working with my neck. And then it went into working with my fists. And so I was like feeling like I was squeezing and moving energy out of body parts. And I was
Mm.
doing my best not to glob thoughts on it, not to say, well, what was that about? And what story? No, I just wanted to breathe and move the energy. And a lot of energy came through my hands, and a lot of energy came through my jaw and my neck. And I can't tell you much more about it other
Mm.
than later in the
Nice.
day, I was walking and breathing and walking and breathing and just looking at the clouds and, just taking my time. Like I'm learning I don't have to rush in the world. I
Right.
can simply be a human alive on the planet, enjoying every moment. And so,
Taking care of yourself.
yes, and I was breathing and I was saying, whatever that was, I felt it. It was there, and I'm so grateful that I'm breathing and moving through it. And I've just been continuously doing that ever since that night. I think it was Friday night that the dream
Nice.
happened. So I had all day Saturday to breathe and move, and then I went sailing and I got to play princess because we had enough crew that I didn't have to work my tail off. And it was just I, a friend asked me if I could walk with her before the sail, and that was lovely. And she was dealing with all this back pain, and I felt so much compassion for her because it's when those nerves get pinched and it's running down your leg and you're just like gritting your teeth in pain. It's a harsh way to be, and I was trying doing my best to be helpful for her, but I noticed that as I was walking, I felt just soft, and the earth felt soft, and I just felt such supportive nature. Anyway, I'm still processing with it and aware that yes, there was anger, and I have no earthly clue what it's attached to. I just know that it's moving through.
Well, holding the space for that breath to reach the depth and let whatever's there go. I just put a
Thank you.
link to the video. I believe it's free on YouTube, called All the Rage, Saved by Sarno. If you haven't watched it. And I'm looking through text. I'm looking to see if I can find a text. And it's actually a friend that I gave this to several years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, who had the kind of recurring back pain that he'd be in bed literally for months at a time. And
Mm-hmm.
I remember one day I'm talking to him, he tells me, when I have to go to the bathroom in the night or in the morning, I have to get out of bed and I have to crawl. My back is in such pain.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I sent him that video, he was watching it, and he sent me a text, and I'm just looking through it, I'm not finding the text. There's actually, he said it was kind of tongue in cheek, but it was like major for him. He said, I'm laying here in this excruciating pain. I'm watching this Sarno guy telling me that it's my rage. He said, all of a sudden, he said, I just had this thought, oh my God, this is my rage. And he said, damn, my back pain went away. And this is like, laying up in bed for months. Damn, my back pain went away. So
Mm.
holding the space for every scintilla of it to be liberated, be free of it, and opening a space for any and everybody who's carrying that kind of energy to be free of it.
Yes, 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 yes. I have seen the All the Rage video, and I'm going to look at it again now. Thank you.
Yeah, it's worth just watching and breathing through. So
Mhm.
it's powerful.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Delighted, honored.
Same.
So, any other thoughts for you?
Well, for right now, I'm clear.
Okay, cool. Well, we're down to the last few minutes. I don't know who Motorola Moto G Power 2 is, but if you're willing to, just got a couple of minutes, if you're willing to unmute, say hello and introduce yourself, it'd be nice to know who's with us. And if not, that's perfectly okay too. I'm going to put another text in. I'm working on another book. If you got information for another book.
Your words are kind of breaking up, Michael. I thought it was just
Oh,
me,
really?
but Susan said it was for her too.
Gee, I'm in the city, sitting still. I'm in the car. I don't know what else to do. I just posted the comments. One of the pieces that I'm planning on putting into this new book, which is going to be called Revelations from the Pulses / Rockma Breath. What is it that we all need to be about processing through? And this is a piece that was given to me by the breath in a Stockholm session.
Maybe speak loud
Probably.
directly into your microphone.
Okay, I'll try it a little more strongly. Hope that works.
That's better.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Energy set by generations in bone takes time to release, time to heal, and or it takes grand willingness. If you do not know what I mean by set in bone, just pay attention to your thoughts the next time you clench your jaw. How many clenched in 30 generations? In 1.6 billion of your or my ancestors? Are you willing to embrace all that has been locked in bone? Yes, I'm willing to open every shuttered jaw in my bloodline so that all the pathways of God's truly all-embracing love and presence are opened in me. I realize I can only rely on that. For my minuscule self that thinks it has power to handle every shuttered jaw in just my bloodline, I jest. Now I understand why I'm wholly reliant on you. Open. And of course, the wholly reliant is on the breath. That's where the super processor lies. So holding the space, it's interesting. If you go to the Aramaic on the passage about turn the other cheek, it actually is a misinterpretation, mistranslation. It's more about letting loose of what's locked in our jaws. We lock our jaw and hold things back. So holding a space that all things open, all things move forward, and we really do create this critical mass of healing for every mind, heart, and being. And blessings. Thanks for joining us.